Hello, I'm back again with part 2 of my eco printing, and I just had to jump on and share an idea I've had, and I started to do it and then thought I need to do it with you guys just in case it turns out to be as exciting as I feel like it might be. I suddenly thought, what if I were to do some eco printing like I showed in the last video, but instead of with card, what about paper napkins, serviettes? Would that work? So I've got these IKEA small ones. They're 24 centimetre square or 9.5 inch square. So what I did is I put one layer down. I've got copy of paper each side. I'll bring it in and show you in a second. Copy of paper each side, a serviette. Then I've put lots of different shaped and sized leaves from my hydrangea plant, which are starting to turn and go pinky red colour. Another layer of serviette on top, more copy of paper, and run it through. And here we go. This is what we have so far. Obviously, this is the copy of paper, but look at the colours that I've already got. So take those away, and actually got some quite nice effects on the copy of paper itself. Look at those, aren't they beautiful? Got blues in here. The colours are fab. And then here we go. Here are the serviettes. So I've got... Because what I was thinking in my little head was that, you know, you can use serviettes, obviously, for... backgrounds and collage. I thought, oh, I wonder if the technique would work with serviettes. And here we go. Let's see. So, one layer. But look, let me just see if I can show you nice close up. Look at the colours. Those are beautiful. Let's take our leaves off. So this first layer is printed from the reverse side of the leaves. So if I take those off, and then we can see what the top side of the leaves produced. You don't get so much colouring. You definitely get more from the underside of the leaves. So I'm just going to bin those. But some of them, so there's less on the back of this copier. Yes, not so much there, is there? So some of them produce more than others, but you've still got the leaf look, the shape. I can still see the shape there. Obviously they might be slightly different once they dry. Let's just peel that off. Get that out of the way. Get that out of the way. But that's still really pretty, isn't it? So let's bring this one back. Ooh, I think those are rather exciting. I'm going to let those dry, and then I will continue part 2 of this video another time. But I just got very excited when I suddenly had the idea of using the serviettes and seeing what we ended up with. So I shall be back soon. Bye. Right, it's the next day, and these have now dried, and the colours are just beautiful. So I'm really thrilled with these, but what I need to do is separate them out and see what happens with the different ply. Obviously the top ply is fine, but can we use the other ones? Now, if you want to know how to separate the plies, because they are quite difficult, if you take the edges and just rub them gently together, and then it should be much easier to separate the layers. There we go, easy. So that's a tip for any napkin. It can be much easier to separate if you do that. So let's see what we've got underneath. the top layer. So often with bought napkins, it's usually the top layer is the one that you can use, and then the other ones you can use for other things, and sometimes you do get a bit of a ghost print. But I just wanted to see how well the other layers would work when they're separated. Right, so one layer. That still looks just as good. So let's separate that one out. Where did I take it apart? There. Try this one. Oh yes, and it actually looks like you can use all 3 layers. Well, that's a bit of a result, isn't it? So obviously I used a brand new napkin, serviette, whichever you like to call it, but you could use, where you've used a top layer of a 3-ply napkin, you could then use the other 2 to do something like this, and then they're not wasted. It's another use for them. So each layer is fabulous. So thrilled to bits with that. That was some of the copier paper. That's dried and is lovely as well. And then of course I've got my other side of my napkin, which I won't take apart on video now. Yes, I am loving that. That's really good. I'm going to come back to that. What I thought I'd do is quickly show you different ways of putting a notebook together, which is what I promised at the end of the last video. So this one is one that we did last time around, folded it in half. Then I thought, lining it, why not? Excuse me, I've just eaten a nut. There's a little bit stuck in my throat, sorry. Why not use the scrap paper to line the inside of the little book? Because it's a shame to waste it, isn't it? So that's what I'm going to do. I've cut it down a little bit, and then I'll quickly show you how I did it. So this is the Nuvo glue pen, the wide one, obviously. I'm just going to lift it up at the edges just so I don't get glue all over my cutting mat. Oh, it's not reaching the corner. There we are. So what I did was I glued the whole thing, including just over the spine as well. Right, so the whole thing's covered in glue. Lid on there. And I'm going to lay this down, just overlapping a little bit. And it might be easier just to see it on that side. See? I don't want to overlap too much, or I might not have enough room at the other end, but just a bit. Just gives me a bit of manoeuvrability with especially with the spine. Then I want my, there we are, bone folder. If you use the bone folder to really press down, especially if you can see any bubbles, and that will just give you a really strong adhesion. The printing on the back of the paper does show through a bit, but you know, it doesn't really matter. Right, so just want to make sure I've got it into the fold, and fold that over, give it a good crease. That's in, and then what we can do, glue on the other side, and then trim it down. So it really is as easy as that. And if you don't have a bone folder, then just use the side of an old credit card or something to use, or a ruler. There we go, that should do that. Just make sure that's into the crease and that folds down. And there we are. Push it back in again. There, I think that's hopefully glued itself down. There we are. Right, I'll let that dry off a bit while I show you the next bit. So the reason I've got my cutting mat here is, and I did allude to this in my last video, but I probably didn't explain myself very well. I'm sure you know that when you fold several pieces of paper, you end up with bits sticking out at the edge. So easily solved. All you need is a metal ruler and a nice sharp blade, and just trim them off. If they don't bother you, then don't worry about it, as long as it's not sticking out of the side of the book. I think I used 5 sheets of A4, which I cut in half, and then these are the halves, but they're just trimmed down to a little bit smaller, just so that they fit into my cover. If it's wet, I might end up tearing it, so I'm just going to go carefully and trim off. Just so I get it on in the right place, what I'm doing with my blade is I'm putting my blade against the edge of the card and then pushing the ruler up to it. Same again there, and then I know I've got it lined up where it needs to be. So now we've got our outside and our inside. Good. Now the other thing I thought would be quite interesting is, because if you might not like it being all white, might think that's a bit boring. So why not slap on a bit of watercolour, just a water brush, and use my chart just to decide which colour I would like to use. I might go for the blue violet, which is this one on the end. So what I'll just do is drop a bit of water into it, spin it around that side, and then just go round the outside. You can do whatever colour you like, doesn't matter, whatever pleases you. And being watercolour, it will dry lighter. And then I'm going to show you another thing that you can do with this as well when this is dried. Drop as much water as colour in, colour, not water, colour. Drop as much or as little as you like, whatever pleases you again. Just roughly go around the shape of the leaf, just as a bit of interest. Done. Let's give that a bit of a rinse. Lid on. Okay. Right, there we are, that's done. That's able to dry now. Another thing that I am going to do with this one is using a fine liner pen. So I will come back when this is dry and show you that. Okay, I'm back again. This is just about dry, and I'm going to use a 03 Kuretake permanent pen. Any brand is fine. The 03 is quite a fine one, and you'll see why I'm using a fine one in a minute. And this requires no skill and just needs a kind of an approximation, shall we say, of going round the leaf. So I'm just looking at the edge of the leaf, and I'm sort of just roughly going round to define the outside of it. And I quite like doing sort of a two line. But as you can see, I'm going all wibbly wobbly on purpose. It's not, I haven't got the shakes. Well, no more than normal anyway. So I'm just going wibbly wobbly. Then an approximation of the line up the middle and back again. And then the same for these and back again. My pen's not working perfectly, probably because I've got the sap from the leaf on there, but you know, it doesn't matter, it's fine. There we are. So you don't have to take loads of time doing this, just the quicker the better in some respects, because then it's a bit more, not so much random per se, but just a bit less contrived. I might add one in there because I think it looks better. So if you do that for all of them, then it just defines the leaf, and whatever shape leaf you've got, you just follow the shape of it. You haven't got to, as I say, have any skill whatsoever. Up to the middle, back. If you go wonky donkey, just doesn't matter. See how quick I'm being. I haven't speeded this up because I don't need to. Just hoping that my hand isn't getting in your way of seeing what I'm doing. There we go, quick as that. And it just, I think, just enhances it a bit. If you liked to leave it as is, as nature intended, leave it like that. There's no right or wrong to any crafting, really. Just do what pleases you. Use what you've got. I'm just seeing some comments about my part 1 of this video. People saying that they hadn't got, somebody said they had got rather large leaves, but she said she spotted some weeds in the garden and they might do. Yes, absolutely. Use whatever you've got, doesn't matter. That's a really good idea to do that. And often when I go out on walks, I'll find all sorts of different things that I don't have in my garden, but that I can pick up on the way. My husband usually just sort of wanders ahead and then rolls his eyes. Oh, she's off again, finding stuff to bring back. The best thing I did a few years ago, it's making me giggle thinking about it, was my husband had a bad back, but he thought going for a walk might be a good thing for him. Sorry, my chair's creaking. So go for a walk might be a good thing. So off we went. And we were walking near Chichester Harbour, and lovely weather. Anyway, I saw this fabulous piece of driftwood, but it was quite big. I thought, I think that might look nice in the garden. So I went down onto the beach, got this piece of driftwood and carried the thing back to the car for about 3/4 of an hour. And he's saying, people are walking past, looking at me as if I'm some sort of dreadful man, that I'm not carrying the piece of wood for my wife. It's fine, I'm perfectly capable of carrying it, and you've got a bad back, so don't worry about it. Anyway, I brought it back, and so it sits in our garden. And then a funny story was, my mother, who's now just a happy memory, bless her heart, came to stay, and she said, "Oh, Nicola, I've done a bit of garden tidying. That piece of wood that was in the garden," she said, I've added it to your log pile." Oh, actually, that was my piece of driftwood that I carried halfway round Chichester Harbour. So, oh dear, it was funny. So it does make me chuckle every time I see it. But there we are. So, yes, my antics. Holidays, wherever, beaches, woodland walks. I usually come back with at least one thing, if not several. So he's got used to me now. And he says, "Have you done anything with those things?" Well, maybe yes, maybe no. There we go. So I realised that living with a crafter is probably not the easiest thing. But there we are. We all have our funny things, don't we? There we are, nearly finished. Bored you with my bizarre stories. And then what I'll show you in a second is how another way that you can attach your middles. There we are, done. So another way to attach your middle instead of doing the 3-hole pamphlet stitch like I did last time, is use a stapler that opens out. I have got, they're slightly red staples. If you'd like to colour your staples, just use a pro marker or alcohol pen and colour them in and then put them into your stapler. So it just jazzes them up a little bit. So you need a stapler that opens out, and then what you want to do is line up where the staple will come out onto your hinge and push through. I don't know whether that's gone through or no, it hasn't. Did that work? Oh, it did, look. There we are. Not sure it's quite 100% in the middle. Then use something, let's use that little ruler to push the staples in. Just mind your fingers, obviously. There we are. And that's one staple in. To be honest, that would hold, I think, but we'll just go. So I'm going roughly halfway between. There we are. And then we've got it nicely decorated. All I need to do is round my corners. Another pretty little gift for somebody with the gift of nature added in. So that's that one. Now another way that you can, I just can't show you on camera, I'm afraid, but another way, if you have a sewing machine, you can sew, just straight stitch along the spine. The words of caution of that are 2 words of caution on that. First word of caution is obviously make sure you have a sewing machine that will go through enough layers. Some machines are stronger, shall we say, with their motors than others. I do not want people to damage their sewing machines. The other thing, the other word of warning is if you're using paper in a sewing machine, it will blunt your needle, and you should always use a strong needle, not just an ordinary fine fabric needle. So we did the 3-hole pamphlet stitch last time. We've done staples, and you could use a sewing machine as well. I'm really itching to have a go with this, so I am going to have a bit of a clear up and get some things out so that we can make a card and have a go with this option as well. I'll be back soon. Before I come to the card, there's one more thing I remembered I wanted to show you. So I have cut one of my sheets in half lengthways. So it was like that. I've just trimmed a little bit off so that it's now just under 3 inches by 8 inches long. And what I'm going to do is make another sort of notebook. It's called a matchbook one, which I'm sure lots of you will have come across. So it's 8 inches long. I have scored 3/4 of an inch in from that end, which leaves me with 7 1/4. But just so that I've got a little bit of wriggle room, I'm going to score at 3 1/2, and I think that should do the trick. By the way, do you know that you always score on the surface that you then want to fold away from yourself? I could never remember which way round it was until somebody explained it. I can't remember who it was, but somebody said the reason you score on the side you're folding away, because it didn't make much sense. You're creating a valley. Why are you then going to make a mountain out of it? It's because it stretches the fibres by pushing them, so that when you then fold them, they stretch across. So if you score on the side that you want on the outside, then fold in, and that way you end up with or a seriously less amount of cracking. So there we are. Thought I'd share that because that interested me, and then it means that I now remember which way I meant to score. So matchbook then. So once we've folded in half, so if you use there are lots of different ways that you can secure the bottom of the matchbook. So one way is with just a wee staple on the bottom. I'll show you. I'm trying to go in the middle. There we are. So that just holds that up, and you can then tuck the side in. And then I've cut some paper to go in. I might have cut it a bit long actually. Will it all fit in there if I do that? Let's see. Yes, it would. That's all right. And then I'm going to just staple it in like I did with the notebook. But these are great for a handbag sized little note. So push those in. Let's bring this back and open out my stapler. Oh, have I got enough staples? Ugh. I think there are 3 in there, so we're lucky. It'll do. So make sure they're definitely in the right place. And this will only need 2. And there we are. Push those in. Actually, I better not use my bone folder. Don't want chunks out of it. There we are. Hold those legs in. Oops. There. In you go. Fold that back again and tuck it in, and there we are. Simple as that. You could put more staples in if you wanted. You could do a fine glue line on the inside and glue it down that way. There are lots of different ways that you could do it, but that's quick and easy. You could even do 3 or 2, whatever. But there we are, another little notebook made. So now I will do the card. So I'm going to clear up, and I just got excited. I'll clear up and I'll come back when I've got some card making things available. Right, I'm back with some card making things. So the flowers I'm going to use are these Alexandra Renka Sweet Pea Bud set. Got these from Musique, and they are super pretty. I've already cut them out. So you get the sort of leaf and the, what do you call them? Curly bits, the bits that cling on. Tendrils, that's it. Buds. And then one where you've got the tendrils and the flowers, and then I've kept the inside bits for the flowers as well. I haven't decided yet whether they will need colour on them or whether they're going to stay white. So I'm just going to put them out of my way on here where I'm not going to lose them to start off with. Then I've got this. This is, oh golly, what did I use? It's Duralar, that's right, by Graphics, and it's make your own stencils. So this was a die from Sizzix, if I remember rightly, and I just used it to create a stencil for myself. So I thought probably some pumice stone stenciled through. Unusually for me, I've got a DL card, or that's what it's called in this country. So it's roughly double the length compared to the width of it, and I've done a panel to go on that. We're going to work on the panel. We're going to use some of the printed serviette. I've got my watercolours on standby in case I need them, and we'll make a start. So I'll put the card panel out of the way. We'll make a start first of all with some distress oxide. And I'll tell you what would really helpful is if I have my blending brushes handy. So I'm just going to grab that back again. So I'll just have them in one of these. I think they're meant to be makeup brush stands, but they're perfect for blending brushes. So we shall use this one. So let's see. Not quite sure how high up I want to be going, but I think we just go for a bit of randomness, and then we'll add more if we need it. Can't take it away obviously, but we could hide it if necessary. So I'm kind of just going diagonally with a slight extra bit there. Let's try that. So that's that done. I'll keep the frayed burlap in case I want some more. I've also had stencil envy of Christine Stokes. She's got this Alexandra Renka stencil which is called Flurry Petals, and I thought since we've got leaves that was very appropriate. So I'm going to use this to put a bit of stenciling on. Might even go across there. So I've got this dimensional paste from Sizzix. I'm not even sure if I've opened it yet, whether I've used any or not. Oh, it looks pretty new, doesn't it? So let's see what it's like. I haven't used it before, obviously. So let's try. Do you know what? Just realised what I should have done. I should have put my leaves on first, because then I could have put some twinkle on this. And also I'm going to be putting my leaves onto texture paste. Oh dear, well never mind. It's pretty though, isn't it? Even if it is messed up. Oh well, never mind. Let's just put that back in there. Right, I'm going to let that dry off a bit while I just get some leaves out of here. So got some water and just going to go round to soften the fibres, and then it releases easily. You just want to hang on to the bit that you're wanting to keep so that it doesn't disappear on you. There we are. Cut off any extra bits that you don't want. There's one. I'll let that sit there. And then brush out again. Do this one. So, little panel. And I might start with a bigger one. My die cuts. Don't know if I won't need all these die cuts, they won't fit anyway, I don't think. I definitely want that one. Or whether I want another one or not. Darn. I think that's too... Maybe take my hand away. That's too much, I think. I just feel that that is too much. But that might be all right. I think what I do want to do probably is to paint them, watercolour them. But before I commit to that, I think I might get this on and then see. So I've got some Slap It On here, so which is matte medium. I do have another brand of matte medium, but it's quite thick, and because I've put my stenciling on first, I can always do some more stenciling afterwards with the stencil paste, but I think that a more liquid one to put these down, I think will be better. So let's try it. At the end of the day, it is card, and if it has to go in the bin, it has to go in the bin, doesn't it? Let's just... try... Ooh. Oh, look, it's changed the colour. Oh, my word. Oh, that's gone blue and it's all ripped. Don't do it that way. That doesn't work. Oh, well, that's interesting, isn't it? I wonder if a different product would be the same. Right, let's rinse that off there. Let me try my other one then, even though it's thicker. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world if it's a different colour, but I do like the... Well, what a little voyage of discovery. Let's see. Just trying to think what else I could use if I couldn't use this. I don't know what else I could use actually. Well, let's just pop some of this on here. I'll show you the brand. This is one I've used before. I just wonder if that, just going to pop a little bit of water on my brush, whether that one will change the colour as well. So I'm not putting any more matte medium on, I'm just putting a bit of water because I've still got some on my brush. Yes, that's changed the colour, look. If you compare the two. Well, that is interesting, isn't it? I'm guessing it's acidic or alkaline, perhaps. Well, so it makes no difference. So that one was an Art Basics soft matte gel. Well, okay, well, it is what it is. So I'm going to put that on there. There is another mordant that I didn't talk about in video 1, which is called, is alum. I think it's aluminium sulfite. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But alum is another one that could potentially fix the colour. That colour is so different now. Not to worry. What I will do is I'm going to use some pinks in my painting. So I'm just going to get another one of these leaves out of here. All right, so you, little leaf, can go up there. A bit more, slap it on. Oh dear, we've lost a bit, never mind. It's the rustic look today. Let's see if that will push back a bit there. Well, I wasn't expecting that. So it's not just the mordants that change the colour. It is also the glue you choose. Just going to see if I can fix that a little bit. Tell you what, let's take a tiny bit from here and fill in that gap. Oh, in you go. There we are, that's filled the gap. Right, I'm set up now with my watercolours and I'm going to use some purples and pinks. So let's just get some wet onto there. This is not watercolour card, so it's, you know, it won't take too much wet, but the amount I'll need for just little flowers should be fine. The main thing to do is not keep rubbing at it. So drop some colour in and then move away kind of thing. Let's see, let's go for some pinky bits too. Put a bit of pink to the purple so it's not too stark a difference. Bear in mind, of course, that watercolour dries much paler when it is dry. So mix those colours. Clean that. Now let's get some green going. Look at my little chart. That fern green. And then I can drop some other brighter in as well. Do love the shape of these tendrils. Absolutely beautiful. So those need to dry off a bit, and then what we need to do is lay them on and see what we think. Now that is interesting. It's gone quite, that looks quite brown now. Blends, mind you. Blends really well with this, with the pumice stone. Right, so let's do that and lay them on and see what we think. Not happy at the moment. I might try a bit of text. I've got this, which is called Musique. Right, that looks nicer. Let's see how we're doing. Middle bit's fallen out, but that doesn't matter. Could even take it out. Maybe it looks better without. Which side do I want it? Maybe one behind the other. Right, so that's looking, the background's looking better. But now I don't have any link because these colours changed. I don't have any link colour-wise. So, I do like these little leaves. I might put a bit more of that on and then put some twinkle on it because that will lift. So let's try that. So use some more dimensional paste, and then I've got this new Nuvo sparkle dust. Adds luxurious sparkle. Well, we could always do with a bit of luxurious sparkle. It's called Snow Glow. Well, we'll be back in a sec when we've got the... Okay, back again. That's a bit more of this going. Now, where do I want to put it? Anywhere, really. And then if I put some sparkle onto it and then sparkle up my flowers, then that's possible that we've then got enough of a link. And then the flowers hopefully won't look quite so random. Okay, let's go for a bit of sparkle and see what happens. I am going to be vacuuming this up forever. Right. Back you go in there. Golly jeepers, that doesn't half go everywhere. Sticks to everything. Right. Okay, well, let's have a look at what we've got. That's lifted it. I've got I'm covered in sparkle. Oh dear. Right, I'm going to sparkle the flowers. Do you know what? I'm just... as I've spilt some as well, which doesn't help. Oh, shit. Let's just move that. Ooh. Sparkle everywhere. Right, give that a bit of a shake. Ooh. Fight with the lid. And on it goes. There's going to be nothing if not sparkly, that's for sure. Do those bits, whether we end up using them or not, we shall see. Now, does sparkle plus sparkle equal cohesion? I've just stuck my finger in it as well. It does, that improves it. I hope you can pick that up on the camera, but it really does make a big difference. I'm just wondering whether I should tone down the green in here to blend better with the green in the background. No, maybe a bit of, I wonder about a bit of pumice stone. I might just put some on my mat. And, oop, drag it through a little bit. Not enormously, but, ooh, see, touches here and there. More on my fingers than anywhere else, I think. Maybe that's the answer. That's easier. That does tone the green down a bit. That's better. Oh, I've left my stencil. Excuse me, I'm just going to go and clean up. Right, I'm back again. I saved my stencil just in time. Got it cleaned, so that was good. And also while I was off camera, I cut out another layer of these and just stacked them. So they're now 2 layers thick. And I think they look a lot better with the little bit of dulling down of the pumice stone. And that's looking better. But I think one more thing, bit of gold. So I've got my gold splatter and just going to do a little bit. Don't know where it's going to end up. A bit more water to it, I think. I'm going to stand up just because I don't want to wear it. Not sure any coming. I'm so frightened of getting it everywhere. Don't think I've got it anywhere. More water. I've actually got any on there. maybe everywhere else. Everywhere I don't want it, I've probably got gold splatter I'll clear up and I'll think, be wondering where it's come from. Well, I won't be wondering. I'll know, won't I? Oh, yes, there's a bit of splatter. A bit more wet. Oh, wrong one. Maybe a bit thick. That's better. And I've left the flowers there. They're not glued down yet, but I've left the flowers there. I've never had such a lack of success with splattering. Oh, that's a bit better. Oh, there we are. That's better. As you can see, I've picked up some sentiments that I've already stamped, and I just have a little stash of them in a drawer. So what I thought I might do, it's probably covered in gold splatter now, but is just a little weeny happy birthday across there, and that font sort of resembles this kind of font going on there. And I did try the black one, but I thought that looked a bit harsh somehow. I thought the dark blue just looked that little bit better, so that's going to go on there as well. I'll need to let my splatters dry, and I will get my sweet peas put on. I don't think I'm going to put this bit in. I think I quite like seeing through somehow. That's just personal opinion though, I think, rather than how it's meant to be. But that's what I like. And what I will also do is sort of put this behind the tendril there. It might end up being in behind the leaf as well, maybe in front, I don't know. But just because they do tend to entwine themselves, don't they, when they grow. Mine do anyway, get very entwined. So I'm going to let that dry and put it all together. You don't need to see me gluing the flowers. I will just come back at the end with a little final picture for you, but that's going to sit on there. The only thing I might do extra, and I will see, is possibly foam tape between the two, or possibly an edge on there. When it's dry, I will decide how it looks, and it'll either be a pumice stone edge or a gilding wax edge. So we'll see, and possibly some gilding wax on there. I was going to do a gold embossed happy birthday, but my loss is somebody else's gain. I lent lots of my things out at Kenilworth, one of which was my gold embossing powder, and I haven't got it back. So, and I haven't managed to get another one as yet. So somebody's got a nice pot of wow embossing powder. So hope they enjoy it. Right, okay, well, I shall be back with a final picture, but what I will say is we have generated all sorts today. Little notebook in a matchbook style, and the alternative ways of securing the notebooks together, a bit of watercolour, a bit of fine pen to outline the leaves. Of course, you could do things like adding some washi tape or any other things you want to do. And so, yeah, so we've created a few different things today, and I will do a tidy up and leave you with final pictures of what ends up as a finished product, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. So this has been the end of part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, then go and see it, because it does show how to create these leaf stamps. Use any leaves you've got, weeds, plants, whatever. Just don't steal somebody else's. Or if you do, don't get caught. No, I'm not condoning that. I probably should cut that off the end. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Oh, one more thing. A few people had suggested to me that I should have a buy me a coffee page. So I have set one up. The link will be down below this video, but there is absolutely no obligation whatsoever. Obviously I'd be delighted if you did, but I'm more than happy bringing free content for you to watch and hopefully enjoy as much as I do, to be honest. So just so you know. Anyway, take care. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.